guys, we are working on practice sheet number 11. So we are going to just start with number 1, and hopefully we know this is an add subtract problem. So it's not triangle. So we can kind of look at it like this. And hopefully you can tell everything would be moving to the left. So if you're listening, you can tell it's a negative. We can also tell here, this is like a same, sum, add. Don't forget your sign. Number 2 is we are making it a mixed number. So I'm going to review with you how to do that, but don't copy what I'm doing. You are going to do this one. That is your job, okay? So if I have, I'm going to go on and list the 7s for this one because I'll do one that's kind of similar. So if I had, let's say, 60 over 7, if I had that, then I would divide, don't copy this, this is an example, 60 divided by 7, y'all are doing 45 divided by 7. So I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, because the next number is 63, that's too big. So I would put an 8. That's my whole number. So you would put your whole number here. Then you need a fraction bar. 8 times 7, 56. However much is left, you'll subtract over here. Whatever you have, I get a 4. That goes on top. So whatever you get when you subtract is your numerator. And the denominator is 7. So you try that one by yourself. Okay. Number 3 says find the circumference. So before we find the circumference, let's label what we have. I see a all the way through, so it's a diameter. So since it's a circumference, hopefully you know, guys, that means you should be pulling out your formula chart. And hopefully you know you're writing this formula. C equals pi d. So if you're listening, you put that formula right here. Pi d means we should have 2 sets of parentheses. So whatever goes in these parentheses is based on that formula, and then you're going to solve it. Number 4, Ms. Walker has a jar of 84 pencils. 2/3 of the pencils are yellow. How many pencils are yellow? So we have our jar here. And I'm breaking this into thirds because it says 2/3. Remember, there's 84 total in this jar, okay? So 2/3 are yellow, okay? So I have to figure out how much goes in each section, okay? How much is in each one? So that's 1, 2, 3 equal parts. So your job would be to divide this by 3. Whatever you get, it goes in each section. That's how we're finding a third, right? And then you're going to count 2 of the sections, okay? Because it's 2/3. Okay, I'm not going to do number 5 for you. We're going to talk about it. It said Cassidy bought 5 books, each costing the same amount for a total of $23.95. Find the unit cost, or cost per book. That's how I would do it. That way you know the number, that's the cost goes on top, the book goes on bottom, okay? And you're going to divide to find the cost per book. That is the unit rate, or the unit cost, okay? Okay, we had a problem kind of like this on our quarterly assessment the other day. Not exactly, but kind of. It says Zuri made 25 liters of punch for the 7th grade dance. If 1 liter is equal to 0.47 pints, how many pints of punch did Zuri make? Answer should be given to the tenths place. I'm not as concerned about the place value. Does not worry me, but I would set up a proportion because remember we have a rate, two numbers, two different units, and then I have matching units. So if I were you, there's more than one way to do this, and there's other ways to think about it, but if you get stuck, I always like to go for a proportion. So 1 liter is equal to 0.47 pints, okay? 1 liter, 0.47 or 0.47 pints. The other number I know is 25 liters, so that matches on top. And then your job is to cross multiply that, okay? Okay, number 7. We've kind of been struggling with this, but I'm going to go on and just remind you, remember, I would never leave it as minus a negative, okay? I would always change that every single time, but remember, I don't just look at that. I have to look at both signs, okay? So this is not triangle here. This one is difference, subtract. So you will be subtracting those, and I would put this like 44.0. That goes on top and subtract 13.2. And then you figure out if it's more to the left or more to the right. Like more to the left or more to the right. Okay. Number 8. This is a triangle problem. We do not need to line up our decimals here. Number 9, we're still struggling with constant of proportionality, even though a lot of us are getting better. It says find the constant of proportionality for the graph. Start by choosing a point and labeling the ordered pair, okay? So any point, it doesn't matter what point it is, okay? So like if I just choose this point right here, I want to label it, okay? So I go over and up. I'm going over to 20 and up to 30. And again, it doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter because it's proportional. It's linear and goes through 0, 0. So, constant of proportionality, look at the very tip top here. K equals Y over X. Okay, so this is an X, this is the Y. Doesn't matter, you can choose these points. If you're doing this alone, you may have chosen this point. It doesn't matter. Okay, put the Y value on top, put the X on bottom, and divide. You will get a decimal, that's okay. And the last one, this is what's going to be on our quiz. It says find the area of the composite figure. So as you remember, we should draw out our shapes. So I see a square, and I know it's a square because I see a 10 here and a 10 here. So your job is to write the formula. Then you're going to substitute. Okay? So you're going to find that area. Okay? Then we have a semicircle. Okay? I'm drawing it this way, just it's easier for me. Okay? So I know this length all the way down, since this is a square, all these are the same. This is a 10, and I want you to remember that this is the diameter. Okay? Now, since we're doing area, I'm just going to get you started on it. I want to make sure we are not using we are using the correct formula. I don't want to use circumference because it says area. So I'm using the A formula. A equals pi r squared. Okay, and then I substitute, Okay. So I need 1, 2 parentheses, and I need a little 2. I'm putting this in red, so I hope you see it. So pi is first. Then I cannot put 10 here because it says radius. We've got to make sure we're finding that. So remember, the radius would be to the middle. What's the radius? It is 5. That goes here, okay? And remember, 5 squared means 5 times 5, which is, I'm just putting it, even though I know you can figure that out. That way you can figure out what to multiply. But the biggest thing that I want to make sure you do is you have to take half, because this is a semicircle. So you have to divide that semicircle by 2, whatever you get. Okay? Then our last step is to make sure we add both of these numbers, the area of the square plus the area of the semicircle.